take this opportunity to welcome you and to invite you to our well show. We thank God for another Thursday where we surely meet and discuss matter pertaining our life, our transformation, our growth. So we thank God for you and also for ourselves to be here. I want to welcome you and know how we are doing. It's amazing that we have gathered here again to come and share nugget of wisdom, how we can be able to build ourselves. I want to recognize those people who are in. I can see Maureen Favored, all the way from Nyanyuki. God bless you for taking your time and opportunity to come and share with us. So thank you. Shaluta, thank you from Muranga. God bless you. Thank you for the good job you're doing. Charles Minor, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you people. We don't take it for granted. Kindly help us to share these live link or in all your pages so that we are able to reach to as many people as possible. And we know that at the end of the day, we'll have reached to a soul, we have reached to a life, we have transformed someone. So kindly feel free to share, feel free to make sure that this link is able to reach as many people as possible. Thank you. We'll get into our today's topic even as we wait for our viewership to build. I can see there are quite a number of people who are always in this class and they're not in, but I know they're on the way coming. But we'll still move on, and I'm looking forward to someone to confirming how the sound is, how the video is. So if you can hear and you're in a position to drop a comment for us. Let us know how the video is. Let's know how the sound is. And kindly pardon my voice is not one of the best, but we're going to manage. How is sound? How is video? My director, probably if you can be able to watch from your end, and then we can move on well. How is sound in your car? How is video? Sound and video is okay. Good. Thank you for that confirmation. Now we can be able to get into the whole discussion. And today, as you usually know, is our second Thursday of the month, and we always deal with the family corner or the family matter. And today we have a very interesting topic that would love everybody, those who are dating, those who are in relationship, and even those who are in marriage, because you're going to get some few keynotes that will help you even to build your family well, because today we are talking about family dynamics. When we talk about family dynamics, is how we are able to build a strong relationships. How are we able to make sure that those forces that we have as an individual level, that those forces come together, the systems that we have. Because dynamic, in other words, it means forces, it means system. So the system that I use to build a family. Remember, we have always said this in my shows, even in other medias, that marriage is a union of two people. So when they come together, then they must have a common goal, a common vision, and a common purpose. When that misses, then it becomes hard to build a family, because you cannot build a family. I know nowadays there is quite a lot of discussion when we talk about families, but you cannot build a family when there are no ties, when there are no forces, when there are no system, when you need to become, in quotes, a banana republic where there are no rules, there are no systems, then there are no ethics, there are no ethos. Then it becomes hard to run such a kind of a family. So when we're talking about family dynamics, we'll be asking ourselves, what are these systems that we need to make sure that our family is strong, to make sure that our family is growing, to make sure that our family is productive, to make our family it's better. So we must have a system. And I've always said this, that one thing we can never avoid in life, it's growth. And if you'll ever avoid it, I'm telling you, it's at your own detriment. So you must keep growing. You must keep, scaling higher in life, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to say, this is where I was, this is where I am. So the family has to grow. And any family does not grow, it's not productive. There is a lot of monotonous. There is a lot of, you feel bored. But when a family has a system of growing, the kids want to grow, the father want to grow, the mother want to grow, then it becomes easier for them to move on. So when I talk about family dynamics, one pillar of family dynamic is what we call upbringing, the background and upbringing of person, the way person has been cultured, the way person has been brought up, the environment that person has been exposed, the things he has grown knowing will play a bigger role in making this person, or in shaping this person, both in minds, both in character, both in personality, and also in perspective. What we call the perception, what in other words we call the worldview. So the way a person has been brought up will determine what they give priority, what take their attention, what take their energy. So when we are talking about the foundations of building a family, upbringing is very important. Upbringing is very important. How a person has been brought up. If you find the environment that person has been brought up, there is no aggressiveness. Probably there is no, there is no a lot of, getting out of your comfort zone. This person has been brought up in a comfort zone mentality. Everything was provided for. They will not struggle getting something. So even when they grow up and probably they want to start their own family, that's the same mentality they will go. And imagine having someone who has grown in a comfort zone mentality. That is what today they would call the mama's boy, or the dad's girl. And that you don't struggle getting everything. All attention is given to you. You want this is there for you. You want to go where there is an Uber sent for you. So if that is the kind of life that you have grown, and that is the kind of environment you have grown, knowing that things are easily, accessed, they are easily gotten, then probably you meet with somebody else who have learned to fight, to go all the way to get whatever they want. When you bring these two people to start a family, I want to tell you the dynamics they're going to have. These are two people who have two different kind of a system. And you want this system to work and build up a family. There'll be a lot of struggle. There'll be a lot of resistance, because you want things. Probably this person, no, you have to go for what you want. You have to fight for what you want. No one is there to give all the attention you want. So when you bring these two people together, then it becomes very hard for them to build a family. Why? Because they are from different worldviews, and we cannot assume. We cannot assume things, because I've seen a lot of family breaking because of this kind of different dynamics these people are coming from, and you cannot judge them. It's only that they were exposed in a different area, and that will always tell people, and more so to the young people, and to all men and women of God who are listening to me, and they have a platform to talk to the young people. Let me tell you, when you're talking to young people and you're talking about starting a family, them understand it is not a walk in the park. It is not God on a silver plate. It is work, and this work, there must be a common denominator, that the players in the team, they are committed to working toward the same direction. So when we talk about family dynamics, upbringing is one of the dynamics that we talk about. Upbringing of someone will shape that person, what they value, what they want for. So when we are having a discussion with this kind of a person, then it means we have some commonalities. We have things that are, they are almost the same. We can share some things when it comes to our discussion. So upbringing is very important. I've talked only about upbringing in terms of what are these people have been exposed to, even in the place of when you find those people that have been brought up in a family, probably in a family when there's, there are quite a number of kids, 7, 8, 9, even such a kind of a family, or a large family that is, with quite a number of siblings, you have already, you have to fight for your way. You have to fight for your way, because by the time food's on the table, if you miss, then you might go to bed hungry. Imagine the same person meeting somebody else who have always, there are 2 or 3 or probably 1 or 2 in a family. So there is no fight. We are only 2 here. It is your way or my way, as simple as that. So when you bring in these 2 people and they have to live together, there is a lot of adjustment that need to be done so that they can have a coherent family. They can be able to have a family that is together. Because I've said this, you cannot assume your past and think you're going to manage your future. Actually, we'll always say this: your past is used to inform you how the decision you need to make in the present so that you can shape your future. So your bringing is very important as far as your future is concerned. People would say that your future does not count, where you come doesn't come. Let me tell you, if you assume your future, there are high chances you're going to repeat it, because we use the past to get experience to inform us the kind of the things we need to deal with in the present so that we have better future. I hope I'm clear there. So upbringing is very important. Number 2, this is another thing that, and I know I'm going to discuss this during our 4th show in the open discussion about personality and personal growth. When this person has been brought up, when you talk about family, whether they are kids, whether it's a husband or the wife, what motivates them? Do they have a goal for themselves? Because you find family, as you said, it's unit built by father, mother, kids, or probably that extended family where their brothers, their sister, their cousins. When we talk about building this family, it means we must have built ourselves, because an individual is a raw material of building a family. So if you're talking about the nuclear family, we have kids and mother and father, and they're working together and they're building a family. The 3 components, for them to be one, they must be committed at equal measure. That I, as the father of the house, I have a personal goal to grow myself. If the mother, you are there, you have a personal growth to grow yourself. Then it becomes easier for us now to agree, how do we build our family? But when we talk about personal growth and personality, when you have one party wants to grow, they are striving to do the best they can with their personal level, and then there's somebody else who is blind here, they're just in the comfort zone, they don't want to struggle, they don't want to try anything. These 2 people, along the way, there are places where they will not go. Let me give them an example. Just imagine a husband and a wife. And they got married at their 20, their late 20s, 25, 26, 27, 28 there. And then probably the wife decide, me, I want to go back to school. I do my diploma, I do my degree, probably do my master's, and if God willing, I can also pursue my PhD. And you are there as a man, and the only paper you have is your Form 4 certificate. If you have done better, it is those what we call appreciation certificates. That is what you have. And then you want to build a family where the 2 of you, your mind cannot marry, because one party is so much ahead in terms of intellectual capacity. As much as in people will say that you need to have all what you call emotional intelligent, you need to have what we call IQ intelligence. All those IQs, even if you were to mention, at the end of the day, someone have to grow themselves to a certain level, so that you can have a discussion towards that level. So when we talk about building a family, those components, look, even kids, when you have one kid who refused probably to pursue education, and the rest, maybe 3 or 4, they have gone up to degree level, when they sit down, you still feel that you don't belong. Why? Because you're part of that family, but there is a dynamic that you don't have. There is a kind of authority that you don't have. And we have seen it. When we talk about family having, having conflict, family not having unity, dysfunctional family, it means there is a place when we could not agree on some things. Or probably I felt I don't belong, or I felt like you're better than me, or I felt that you're ahead of me, and we cannot live together. Or probably we'll be together physically, but minds are not together. Probably you're the man, you want to do business, and your wife is not a business oriented, and probably they're just seated down, they're not growing themselves. So when we come on the table to have a discussion, because said and done, even if we talk about life and love and marriage and everything and family, at the end of the day, we'll sit down and ask ourselves, what are you doing with your life? And out of that, if probably one party feel they have walked a journey alone and the other party is not there, then that itself, sometimes it brings cracks, it brings gaps, it brings, you feel there is a bridge between this person and this person. So it's very important for us to understand that as much as you're in family, grow yourself. Because I've said things, your personal growth is very important in building what you call a family unit. So my dynamic number one, I said, is upbringing and your background. Number two, I've said personal growth and your personality. When we talk about personality and what we call the temperament, when we have the sanguine, the choleric, phlegmatic, and melancholy, those four traits, if you're a choleric and then get another choleric, form a family, I want to tell you, these are two people who are competing with each other. These are two people they want to argue. So when we're talking about the personalities, you have to get personalities that they match. If probably I'm talkative, I'll get someone who is quiet so that when I'm talking, there is someone who is listening. If you have two sanguines, the husband is a sanguine and the wife is a sanguine, and both of them, they're talkative. They start, they get to home at 7 p.m. The husband how the day started at 7 a.m. up to 7 p.m. Then the wife starts from when they parted from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'm telling you, by the time they are done doing the briefing, it is 9 p.m. Before they discuss what they're going to cook, it's probably 12. And kids have to go to school tomorrow morning. So you see, those are the dynamics that I'm saying. You need someone, if you're talkative, there's someone who tell you, can you post, we do 1, 2, 3. So you need someone who is opposite of yourself. So personality plays a very big role in terms of building a strong family. Personality contributes a lot when we talk in the area of laying the foundation, even for the kids, because you'll find even the kids, they will always take the personalities that their parents have most of the time. So that in itself, it's a very important thing to consider when we talk about the family dynamics. And I always say this, I wish young people will understand, you don't just run to someone because they're beautiful. You don't run someone because probably of their hefty accounts. But you want to understand, can this personality and my personality put together, can they be able to sustain a family? Can they be able to sustain a relationship? For how long? Are we complementing one another or are we competing with one another? That is very important, because competition and complement are born out of the people's personality. There are people who never calm down. They want always to be on top. So you need to know, how do I deal with this without breaking myself? How do I bend myself without breaking myself so that I can be able to lift the other person? So personality is very key. It's very key. And I've also said personal growth. How do you want to grow yourself? Because an individual growth and success put together, then we term it as a family success. The brother go and succeed, the sister go and succeed, the mother succeeds, the father succeed. When you put that to family, you'll be able to say this family is successful. I hope I'm clear on that. Let me recognize those people who have joined us. Thank you. You can see we have quite a number of people. Yes, thank you, Anne. Thank you for coming in. God bless you. I can see John Agadagu Jr. from all the way from Nakuru. God bless you. Agnes Wamboye, can see you there. And you're saying, Johnny is saying, wow, amazing. Thank you. And looking forward. Then I can see Agnes Wamboye there dropping a comment saying that keep up the good work, nice words that make me feel, keep me on going. Thank you so much, Agnes. God bless you. I want to appreciate my good friend, Jane Irongo John. Thank you. I call her JJ, that all the way from Goingwa. God bless you. Thank you for coming. And remember, after this, we meet behind the tent. So as I was saying, so that I can be able to go into the third pillar of family dynamics, I have talked about upbringing, I have talked about personality, personal growth and personal trait that are very important. Number 3 is education level. Now, education level is very important because education, when we go to school, and I always tell people about going to school, we don't just go to school to get papers. We go to school, number 1, to be cultured. There are things, you move from, let me use one of my friends here. You move from Molo, you come to Thika. That in itself, it is a school. You have learned something different. So when we're talking about building family, and here we talk about mother and father, and when you have people who they diverge in terms of education levels, they will always have a problem. When you have people that have close range in terms of education, it means imagine you're dealing with a professor and you're a Form 4 leaver. By the time you understand the English, you are lost. And by the time Actually, most of the time when people feel inferior, what we call inferiority complex is built over time when you feel you are struggling to reach out to a certain level. So when you feel like I cannot keep up with this person, what you build within you, it is inferiority complex. So inferiority complex, feeling you are less, feeling you are not as worth as other people. It is when you have tried to reach their level, it's you have tried to keep up with their pace, and you feel probably they are gifted, they are better than you, then that becomes a problem. So education in itself, it is a key to consider when we're talking about family dynamics. It is very important. It has played a role. I've seen family going far. That's why I always tell people, when you realize your partner is going back to school, my friend, get something else also to do. Don't be left behind. Don't be left behind. When you find your brothers are doing something, as a sister, send yourself back to school. Do a certificate, do a diploma. What you're doing, when you get on the table, you can argue from an intellectual point of view. When you're discussing from a point of view. You are an informed person. You are a schooled person. You are exposed person. So you cannot assume education. And every time you'll find in a family that some they think they are more educated than others, that in itself, what we call perception, how we perceive things, it is based on how we believe that life has been. It is how we believe that the society is. And at the end of the day, we believe or we perceive the society based on our level of understanding. So you keep changing your perception by growing yourself. So a family that wants to go far, a family that wants to feel there is that a togetherness, that functioning, then they must be a unity, there must be a personal commitment of every person to grow themselves in the area of acquiring knowledge, acquiring skill, and being informed. And that is the whole is about education. So when we find there is a lot of, there is a bigger diversity in terms of the levels of education. If one member of the family, probably, let's talk in a very simpler manner. When a husband and a wife, they are from different backgrounds when it comes to education levels. One is probably a degree holder in a secondary school. Those two people, one of them will feel probably that's why we don't reason together, because probably is not of my level. And that's why I started by saying we need to graduate from marrying people from their beauty and they are tall, handsome, and they call tall and handsome and whatever the ladies will say, to a place of where you're also marrying someone with brain, because you also need someone's brain to walk this life. So education is a very key dynamic in building a coherent family, building a strong family. Those are they are pillars, they are strong pillars. That's where we join together. There is when we can sit down. Imagine, probably there is a disagreement in the family and you're trying to solve it. And someone starts throwing jargons of words there, vocabulary. Now you're wondering, are we going to solve, or I'm going to run to a dictionary and start trying to get what you're meaning? So that's the whole thing. Because when we talk about level, we're saying we can be able to resonate at the same level, or if not in the same level, I'm not struggling so much to keep up with you. Anytime someone who feels what I have said is trying and struggling to keep up with you, they'll start with withdrawing. They'll start taking their space. And that means you are not building a family, and you're segmenting the whole unit of a family. So education is very important. Now, pillar number 4, which is very key, and I know here, majority of people, they never consider it most of the time, it is age. Age is very important. Have you seen, let me even give an example of the siblings. If the firstborn probably is 50, and the lastborn is probably 30. The age difference there is 20. The one at 50 will never see their lastborn at 30 as mature. Actually, most of the time, they will always refer them to their kids. So it means if a brother and a sister, or a brother and a brother, or a sister and a sister, the firstborn or the secondborn and the last one, because of their age, whether the lastborn is maybe sober in terms of decision making, maybe sober in terms of aggressiveness, ambition is okay, but at the end of the day, because of age, he will always be terming like a baby or a kid in the family. Actually, he will always be given the last. Have you seen even the family gathering, like when they have to start with the order of seniority, you'll always be given the last one, and yet we needed the opinion first to shape the meeting. Sometimes you'll find because of your age, and I have seen even couples, and I always say this for those who remember, they're hearing me, and probably you have kids, probably have an opportunity to talk to the youth. Please, if you're going for a life partner, please don't. Age gap is very important. If you marry someone who the age difference is 20, 15 years, 13 years, probably they'll see you as the younger sister and the younger brother. And sometimes there'll be disagreement. They'll be like, you know what? You're doing like what my sister was doing. You're doing like what my brother was doing. Because they feel their age allows them, or their age allows them to be respected. Their age allows them to have their way. So age in building a family, and I'm talking about even more so in marriage, it is very key. It's a point to consider. And if you assume it and you start telling people, oh, you know what, age is just a number, it's a lie. And I'm telling you, it's a lie. Time will catch up with you and you realize, for real, age was not just a number. Age means a lot. It means a lot. Because by the virtue of saying, hearing someone is 50, there is a perception you're going to create towards that person. Whether it is true or wrong, you have already created it. So you cannot assume age. Age, it plays a role in building a coherent family, building a strong family. It is a key thing to consider. Because as you remember, when you marry someone, or probably you settle down with someone who is quite older than you with a number of years, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, probably the most I would say it's 5. If this person is above there is a certain kind of a generation they have gone through. If you are 20, let us assume you are 30 years old and you have a man who is 45, a 15 years different. At 45 years, they're at their middle age crisis in life. At 30 is when you want to start now exploring life. It's the time you want to run out for coffees. It's the time you want to go out there and watch a movie. But now you have somebody in the house who want to settle down, who probably they're thinking, now if I'm going to retire at 60, I have 15 years to work. You are thinking, if I have to work at 60, I have another 30 years. So I can have my 15 years to enjoy and then 15 years to think about. So that in itself, you'll feel there will be a bit of friction there. And it's because you feel someone think you're wasting their time. And not that you're wasting their time, you got yourself there knowing. But you know what? Majority of time say that our age is just a number. And we can fix it as we move on. My friend, there are things you cannot fix. There are things. Remember, as I was here and I was talking about the business curve. The normal curve, how it's supposed to grow. You have to start from introduction, then from what you call the startup, then development, growth, development, then expansion. Then when you get up there, you start now having decline. The same thing will happen. Even in a normal curve, a human normal curve, there is a place when you hit your prime, energy is on top. Thinking capacity is on top. Then there's a place when you start now declining and you start going down. There is no energy. If probably you need to do morning walks, now you're struggling doing them. If probably you used to read up to 12, now you can't. You see, because the energy curve is going down. Now you need someone who can also understand when that curve is going down. It's not that when your curve is going down, that is the time their curve is stiff. That's the time when they have energy to do whatever can be done on earth. That's the time they're feeling they at their prime to enjoy life, and you're feeling not me. I think that is not where I am. So when you talk about age, it talks a lot. And I say this, when we don't consider this age, how does it get to affecting to the kids? Because when it goes down there, probably you'll find the disagreement between the parents will flow down to the kids. And actually kids will wonder, Mama, why is my mom and and my dad, probably they don't look like they're in the same age bracket. And those questions, they will still have them, and they don't want to understand what happened. Probably they'll never ask you, but they will ask themselves. So age is a very important factor to consider when we talk about family dynamics. I've said this, Whether it is on the sibling side, whether it is on the parent side, it has everything to consider. I've said, you do a family meeting and probably people are giving their contribution and they start with the seniority. By the time they are reaching to get your view as the last one or the second last, it's like already, if there was a mess was done, it's already done. Now, we cannot try and start correcting from down there. So age is very important when we talk about family dynamics. And my pillar number 5 that I wanted to check this evening, it's about culture. Culture and religion. Those two have joined together, because when we talk about culture, it's what people believe. It's, the believing system of people. And if this is what I believe and this is my culture, so the two cultures must be able to marry and agree, because out of the culture is when we build what we call the social capital. The social capital is built up when the culture is well simulated in our marriage. So when we talk about culture, it means this family, for us to have a flow, our culture agrees. What we believe in our culture and what you believe in your culture, we can be able to sit down and agree that that is okay, this is okay for us. We can be able to accommodate that. We can be able to be flexible here. Culture is very important in terms of building a family. And also religion, because when someone believes this is what I believe and that is what you believe, we cannot assume that. And actually, I'll say this: as we progress, you'll find the religion, the way of people's, the way they worship, and the way they believe in the supernatural power. You cannot assume it in a family. You cannot assume it. As much as you say that I respect, as much as you say I respect, I accommodate. Here, there are things that you try. This is not someone you're accommodating for a month. This is not someone you're accommodating for a year. This is not someone you say you accommodate because you work with them. You'll work with someone from 8 to 5, then you'll go home. Actually, for the 8 hours you're going to sleep, you'll at least have to delete some file about them, so that when you're meeting them tomorrow, you have created a space for them. The same thing that happened when now we talk about family, and that's why I tell people there are things you don't assume, because when you come to family, there are people you are living together with. You cannot denounce them. They are part and parcel of yourself. Even if you denounce them, at the end of the day, we were to look at your DNA, it probably match with theirs. So you have, even if you are to deny and say that's not my family, you're just lying to yourself, because there is a kind of a DNA you are carrying that flows in them. So you cannot assume religion. You cannot say, I'm going to accommodate. Yes, you're going to accommodate because at that time there is a cavale called love. Then once you get into marriage and then you're settling down, first year, second year, realize, hey man, I can't keep up with this. This is not the way I've been captured. This is not the way I've been brought up. And then those friction, those disagreements, they now start creating, a lift. You start feeling their gaps. You start feeling there are things that are not moving on. And it's something that we assumed. Most of the time when we're starting things, there are a lot of things we assume. And that's why the Bible says in the book of Psalms, chapter 11 and verses 3, when the foundation are shaken, where will the righteous go? Even in life, there are times when, family, business, the shakeups comes. When there are those shakeups, where do you run to? That's why I always say, in the marge, in the range, try to make sure that in all these pillars, you are within the range. In a family, you're within a range with the person you're working or you're doing life with, because it will help you when there are shakeups. At least you can hold on. The unfortunate thing is, you have someone when the foundation are shaken, actually they get, they get into, they are swallowed by the cracks, and they will never be found again. There are people who, they have a challenge, and it comes to the end because within them, they didn't have a personality to withstand. They didn't have a personality to withhold pain. They didn't have within them the stamina to oversee or to go through a storm, because they are weak within them. So when I talk about coming together and building a family, you cannot assume these pillars and assume that you're going to have a strong family. Because I always say this: in life, challenges will come. In life, you're going to get storms. But you must be prepared for those storms. And these family nuggets or these family dynamics, they're like things that are helping you already to consider that if a tornado comes, it's not going to carry me as much as in probably it will carry someone who never considered this. If you consider these, building up a family, you'll find even when there is challenges, you are able to solve it easier. You are able to go through it. You understand this is our season, and by the time you're coming out of this season, we are better people. We are placed people. We can be able to go through another season better. So culture is very important. Religion is very important. Age is very important, my brother, my sister. Don't assume those nuggets. Upbringing of someone is very important, because that forms their personal system. Do you know the inner personal system in them? How they believe, what they believe for, what they stand for, what they're striving to get. There are people who went through a lot in, when they were brought up. They lacked something and they said, when I grow up, I want to have this. And for you, it's not a priority. So that place of upbringing helps you to understand, what are you going to accommodate from this person? What are you expecting from this person? It's very important. And I said also the part of education. You cannot assume education and expect that all shall be well. Thank you. I'm trying to see what new has come here in terms of our show. Thank you. So even as we come to the end of the show, I'll beg, kindly share these link to all your Facebook channels, so that we're able to reach as many people as we can. Now, once we understand that, how does understanding the family dynamics helps? In building a strong family? 4 things, and I will run very fast. Number 1, when you consider all those factors I've said, you'll be able to position yourself in a better position to grow yourself well. A family that has a better understanding, better care, then there is the acceleration in terms of growth, because we can agree, we can have a sitting now and agree, we want to do a business, you do this part, I'll be do. So even delegation becomes easier. Even the place of supporting one another. Yes, you want to go to school, I want to go to school. You first take the first chance, go do that. Then once you're done, you can support me, because we agreeing in a lot of things. When you find people don't agree in a lot of things, they take a lot of time. I know there are families that will take 3 years to agree where to buy a plot. 3 years. Money is there, but they're still pulling up and down. Where do you think? Because these people, they have totally a different worldviews. So before you marry this, one calendar is done. Before you agree which business to do, another calendar is done. When they agree, let's do this business, who are we going to employ? Another 6 months. Before they agree which color to paint, you can have a couple sitting down or a family meeting and they're discussing color and they don't agree. They'll call for another meeting to reaffirm, did we say this is a blue we want to paint? Who is going to buy the color? Because their families will find that there are calls they can make and they solve that, but you'll find they have to come back, because their dynamics are far away from each other. So they spend a lot of time. When you have considered those dynamics, I'm telling you, you solve a lot of time. You solve a lot of time. You solve a lot of time. Why? Because we are able to agree. We are able to agree. Do you know there are families that they do not believe they can do a Zoom meeting? Someone in Mombasa will come away from Mombasa. I know there is family ties and we want to enjoy. And it's something probably that is urgent. We needed just to get into a Zoom meeting or a WhatsApp call and agree. Can we do that? Yes, we will do that. We have delegated, so-and-so to do that. So-and-so will do that. Because our intellectual understanding, our education level, our religion allow us to, our culture allow us, our exposure allow us to, we can be able to agree very fast. So once you are able to consider those pillars that I have mentioned, number 1, we save a lot of time. There is fastness in terms of doing. There's delegation becomes easier. Delegation becomes easier. We are able to delegate people based on their strength. You'll get into a family. There is one person who is the alpha and omega. They will never delegate. They'll do everything. because they believe they're the only people who can do that and succeed. So the moment you're able to consider those dynamics I've mentioned, delegation becomes easier. You accept other people to flourish. You accept other people to go before you. You can support other because that's not your season, and you can feel it's not my season. Because, for example, you get a family where there is like competition. The husband is in school, the wife is in school, the kids are in school, and they're competing. And probably someone knows this is not my season because of my job, because of my financial cost, but sitaki kupitwa, lazima akianza naanza, akifanya nafanya. Those are the things, because our personality didn't marry, our personality didn't agree, whereby that I can allow you to take the lead at this time, I can allow you to enjoy this because I know my season also will come. So when we have considered the family dynamics, there is a delegation, support is there, a lot of care is there. You'll get a lot of the things that happen in family. They cannot support one another. Why? Because they believe if I support and succeed, then I'm behind. If they succeed and it's not me, then probably I will not be comfortable. But the moment we consider and understand that the things that we carry for each other and the things that we have for each other, when they grow up on the ladder, then I'm also growing. And that's what we call a family. If a family will consider working together, if you can become someone's stepping stone, please do that. If you can be used, in a good way, then allow yourself to be used so that the other person can be able to benefit. So I've said, once you save a lot of time, then there is easier in delegation, then there is, genuine care and support. Genuine care and support, because people will feel because of where I have reached, I can be able to give you a hand, I can support you going back to school, I can support you to start a business, I can start to implement an idea, I can support you to do something. There is a genuine help, there is a genuine support, because there is a lot in terms of our fundamentals, in terms of our dynamics, in terms of our system. There is so much agrees with one another. So supporting becomes easier. Flowing with one another becomes easier. That only happens when we have dealt with the fundamentals, when we have dealt with the foundations. Those foundations are very important. Very important. Look at this. You have find in family when siblings, like this one cannot talk to this one cannot support this one, because he believes if I support him, then at the end of the day, he's going to use whatever I'm going to help him or her to, reach a certain level to finish me. So you find in a family, there is that infights, a lot of infights. There is no support. Because someone somewhere have a certain perception, because not a belief, that it is not it's not right for you. It is not right for you to be where you're supposed to be. It's not right for you to, climb ladders in life. So because of that, we lack genuine. But when we have considered those foundations, then there is a genuine support, genuine care. There are people who want to be concerned with what you're doing. They want to see that our family is okay. How are our kids doing? How are my brother doing? How is my wife doing? How is my husband doing? There is a genuine care, because their success is our success as a family. Their failure is our failure. So when I'm helping that other person, when I'm extending my hand to help the other person, we are building the unity called family. We are strengthening family. And because I'm part of this family, then it means I want the best for this family. And if the best for this family is making the other person grow, then I have no problem making that person grow. I wish this will get into our family so that we'll stop unnecessary competition. We'll stop unnecessary fights. We'll stop unnecessary enmity in our family. And I don't think there is any, genuine enmity. So the moment we start being genuine and at the end of the day realize that we are building a family, I'll play my part, the other person will play their part, then at the end of the day, we are able to achieve the best. I hope I'm clear there, and I totally want to stop there tonight. So I want to acknowledge, today we have a new member, Karo Karaoke. Thank you for coming in. God bless you. My sister from Mangu, Mercy Ngoe, God bless you for coming. Thank you for everyone who have taken their time. I'm struggling a bit with my voice. But nevertheless, thank you so much. All those people that have keep all through, we don't take it for granted. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for standing with us and even praying for us, giving us the moral support as the Well Show. We really appreciate and we thank you guys. Until we meet next week on Thursday, keep it tab, keep sharing. Drop a message for us how we can be able to build the show, how we can make it better. If you do want to partner with us, if you do want to sponsor a show, kindly let us know how you do want us to be of help to us, and we'll appreciate. From us to you, shalom, shalom, and God bless you. We love you so much.